Ramadan Mubarak, Ramadan Karim, Ramadan Mubarak, Ramadan Karim. Human beings, we are looking at the most holy, beautiful religion of Islam. How, and we are going to use that, our foundation, to study more about the 11 centuries. 11 centuries of mankind. Men decided that they had to find their way of life other than that which is prescribed by holy divine law. And that holy divine laws are there as preventions are better than cure. When we say prevention is better than cure, it's not only to diseases. Prevention is better than cure, not only to diseases that affect human beings. Prevention is better than cure. You can apply that to in the business world, in industry, because we saw that the 11th centuries, most of the time men engaged in what we call production of weapons. Production of weapons. And this is 365 days of the year for 11 centuries. In those 11 centuries, we also saw that men in manufacturing, when you talk weapons, they're handheld weapons, like a gun, assault rifle. But they're also psychological weapons. These are weapons whereby men engage in things like dirty theologies, racism. These are very deadly acts of psychological warfare. In the 21st century or 22nd century, we will have men and women who have children under the age of 3, under the age of 4, who are engaged in confrontation with their brains inside their little brains inside their head. They are involved in cyber warfare. Cyber warfare is a psychological, but a cyber war machine, a cyber warfare. And most of these products that are produced for cyber warfare for children, the car that produces these weapons, these psychological weapons, is a car that is responsible for shedding up to 5 million innocent children and women on this planet. Why? As we saw, we said we are going to study how do we prevent future confrontations of men and women and their children and their society involving Mother Nature into their confrontations of foolishness. Because I want to remind men and women on planet Earth today that as individuals, you are responsible for your own life. This gang warfare style of I'm a Christian because Christianity has a gang. I mean, let's look at it this way. There's a Protestant, whatever. You may classify that as a gang. Then there's a Pentecost, that's a gang. Adventist, whatever, that's a gang. And so many there are gangs that are promoting whether weapons or drugs and what have you. In that kind of circulation of foolishness and wallowing of foolishness in the brains of little children to adults, there is no any sort of peace left on this planet. I'm telling you, my people, in the last 11 centuries, in no modern times today is the time where you would find a child under the age of 3 who say that I don't love life anymore. They say, I want to commit suicide. You know why such a thing occurs in the little baby's heart that she want to commit suicide? Because in this kind of environment, there are so many stakeholders. Me as the environment, I'm a stakeholder. in that little child is good health. You as the mother of that child, you are the stakeholder in that little child's health. The sun in the sky is the stakeholder. And all other trees around you and the rest of the community members of the Society of Muslims on this planet are stakeholders, except for a few men and women who say, we are insurrectionists. We use cyber warfare. We fight, we are on the cyber. We moved from the artilleries in the jungle of the streets of America, in the jungle on the streets of Europe, and we now in the cyber war world, under the disguise of what we call artificial intelligence, cyber kind of mutilation of little children's minds, little children's brains. These things may seem like a small thing to you as a parent when you go to the shop and you buy the child say, Mama, I want that Xbox as my next game this Christmas. Do you know what that Xbox gonna do to your little 5-year-old boy's brain? Because the program in that Xbox or installation, whatever, is a cyber war, whatever machine, which a boy, once he gets into it, he can easily attack someone in either in South Korea or in Japan or Australia. Just by the boy sitting on the what? On his Xbox. With that, as a little boy who is under the age of 5, he's at war every single day. Whenever he wakes up, if he's in class, the first thing when he gets home, he will run straight into the Xbox room, and before he gets a cup of tea, he will switch on his computer and set to go into what he call cyber warfare. And the education, he went to get education at school. The curriculum itself, it prepares him for self-destruction. The curriculum that was designed in the 11th century, because these are curriculums which have not been looked at by human beings to say, what causes a 3-year-old little girl to say, I want to commit suicide? A 3-year little girl, a 2-year little boy, a 3-year little boy, they say, I want to commit suicide. We as in Mother Nature, we say, if you parents take these children and say, we give them to you as how you call them your children. Once they're alive on this planet, they're given what you call Qadara. Qadara is what Allah sends to human beings as what is written on your whatever, that when you're on planet Earth, this is what you eat, this is what you drink, this is where you go, this and that. Once that child is given that Qadara, as soon as he comes out of the mother's womb, the mother tells a lie to herself that I'm a Christian. And the father tells a lie to himself that I'm a Christian. Now the child is left as an orphan. The child becomes an orphan because he doesn't have the Muslim mother who would have taken care of the child's interests, and inheritance, like giving inheritance, it doesn't involve on what you pass on to the children as wealth, but knowledge, beautiful knowledge about life. So once a child is on planet, walking on planet Earth, she or he is an orphan. Because her mother is a Christian. Who say, sometimes she you will leave you here, we are going to the bar. If you can come out to the bar. You are not allowed to drink at your age. You sit aside. So the mother drinks, while they are drinking, another drunken man comes and touches whatever, this and that. These are things that these little kids, they are raped by their own parents. Because if a parent goes to the bar or goes for drinking whatever with the child, that child's dignity is raped there and then. You understand, my people, do you understand what I'm saying? So the child is an orphan, and the parent doesn't give a damn, because whenever she thinks of anything that gives her joy, is alcohol. And for your information, my people, my creations, you men and modern men in modern times, it's mentioned in hadith It's mentioned in hadith. And if you are a parent at home, a mother, you tell me when you have, let's say you are not a Muslim, you are not a practicing Muslim, and your husband drinks every day. He comes home drunk. I want you to take this into reality and see, look at it this way. When a man comes home, when he's drunk, he will not be able to recognize that 16-year-old little girl is his daughter. He won't be able to do that. Yeah? And he will gun, whatever, he will just find, because his brain is out of his head. He's intoxicated. He's what we call mentally impaired. His mind is out of he cannot reason with accountability. That's why Allah said, look at things that divine holy laws that prohibits men engaging in things that rapes your own dignities, your own humanism, whereby men who have done this kind of acts, yet the men who have produced weapons of mass destruction. A weapon which they can throw either from New York to London and destroys everything. That's weapon, nuclear weapons. So with that, we are looking at the 11th century. What can you learn from what is behind? I've tried to tell men that. Let's look at this, whatever that is behind us. This dirty 11th century is about men have become terrorists of their own children. Men who rape their own children, men who rape their own, who devour the inheritance of their own children and make their children orphans. Why? Because they say, our way of life, he says, we are Christians. As a Christian, I can drink 24 bottles of champagne every day. 24 bottles of champagne. And under those 24 bottles of champagne, the money that you use to buy the 24 bottles of champagne is the man and inheritance which is supposed to look after your children, your future generation. And another man says, our way of life is that I go in a warehouse, manufacture an assault rifle, and after that I go to the bar and drink alcohol because my way of life is that's how it is. Me as a Muslim, I say, my way of life, I prosper 5 times a day. I never take riba money. I never take haram money. And my health, I keep my health clean. I keep my hands clean. I prostrate every single day. And I go fire every single minute whenever I can. To thank for this beautiful thing that we understand as life. We celebrate the beauty of life. Some of you are very familiar with celebrating birthday of your children, birthdays of your children, birthdays of yourself. Have you ever thought, if you are 40 years, have you ever thought that you once, in one, whatever, you are a little boy under the age of 2, now you are 40? And have you ever considered that, had your parents made themselves to devour your inheritance, would you have been able to reach 40 years? Because when you talk of devouring the inheritance of your children, denying them the right to know what is their true religion. What is the true religion? Oh, let me remind you, men and women, never, as long as you are living creations of human beings, never tell a lie to your brain and never tell a lie to your heart. If you tell a lie to your brain in the evening, by midnight you won't be able to even go to sleep because the heart won't be able to settle down until you rectify what you said. This is a lie. So that way, those are one ways in which men end up devouring the inheritance of their children when they deny them the fact that we are all Muslims. Whereby a Muslim divine holy law or Islam divine holy prescription of laws says, do not engage in racism. Do not manufacture weapons. Say assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to every human being and non-human and to the environment too. Do not cut trees, plant trees. So my people, we are looking at the 11th centuries whereby men and women have made Mother Planet Earth speak with a louder voice, whatever, that men cannot understand. In this 21st or 22nd century, men and women throw their children on the front line. How do they do that? When they make them orphans. If a child loses her parents, either because of alcohol, she will go on the street and start begging because the parent doesn't care. Once the parent gets enough little quits, they will end up in the bar, sitting there all day, while the child is looking for something to put in her stomach. Well, the mother has devoured the inheritance of the child, and the child is an orphan. She lives on the street with all the mother is there and the father is there, but she's an orphan in a very young age because her mother is a drunkard, her father is a drunkard. So that way, Allah says, my people, creations, we've put divine holy laws that prevents men from causing damage to future generations. If you were to drink 2-4 bottles of either cognac or Jack Daniels, whatever, in a day, or in 24 hours, that's a lot of money that you would have saved for as an inheritance for children. You understand? With that, my people, I don't know any other language apart from Islam. I know when I wake up or when I'm walking around, I always say I'm an investor. An investor like the Amazon forest. There we dance, we sing, we glorify Allah every hour, every minute. We are saying Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, whether men like it or not. But those who do not like it, they say, oh, they are the ones singing a song. Mother Nature sang the song. I said, my children, I've been telling that which favors of Allah will you deny? Will you deny the fact that yesterday you were helpless, a 2-year little boy? Today you are a 50-year or 40 or 30-year-old man, and you are driving a nice car, and yet you cannot ever thought of planting a tree somewhere. And whenever you want to grab something to eat, you go to take it out of the engine of the car, you grab it from a tree or a plant somewhere. So be grateful and give back to the Mother Nature by planting trees. Give back to Mother Nature by planting trees, not by insulting the environment or being terrorist to the environment. There's some countries where the land is so kind of dry, but many time again, they chop the trees or whatever. So we say, which favors of Allah would you deny human beings? Which favors of Allah? Is it not that we have explained to you? Do not devour the inheritance of your children. And do not ever tell a lie, either to your brain or to your heart. If you tell a lie to your brain, your child will be the first victim. If you tell a lie to your heart, your child will be the first victim. And the next victim is your husband. The next victim is your sister. The next victim is your whatever, your uncle, and so on and so on. So that is one of the things that I wanted to remind you that, and for your information, we are going to talk about Qadara. The reason why I brought up this subject is about Qadara. Qadara is what Allah gives the human being when they are sent on this planet. That Qadara, the most serious whatever that reduces someone's Qadara is when a man or a woman tells a lie. That's why Allah says, never tell a lie either to your heart or to your brain. Whenever you tell a lie, knowing or unknowing, your Qadara, if Allah says today you will eat 50 kilograms of whatever, it will be reduced if you tell a lie in the morning, and your risk of that day was 2 to 5 kilos of very beautiful food, you find that you have only maybe a grain of rice. Why? Because you told a lie, and your Qadara was reduced because you told a lie. My people, I don't know whether I understand the language I'm speaking. That's why Allah says, creation, man, human being, never tell a lie to your brain and never tell a lie to your heart. When you tell a lie to your brain, your Qadara is reduced. If you say you have goats at home, there whatever is reduced to. If you have chicken, there whatever is reduced because of you as a human being who says, that is my chicken. That is my goat. That is my sheep. So the kadara is reduced. Your kadara is reduced because you told a lie. The kadara of what you say you own, the chicken, the sheep, the goat, the whatever, is reduced. And you're a family member. So that way, you are at loss. You are what? At loss. But why? Because you told a lie. We are looking at the 11th century. What do they mean to you? And what does this conjecture be left? Whereby the atrocities within the 11th century that men have looked at, atrocities after atrocities committed by either with hands of men, have provoked Mother Nature to say, human beings, put your houses in order. Put your brain in order. Never tell a lie that you are anything other than Muslim. If you continue this life, your kadara, the kadara of your whatever will reduce, and reduce and reduce and reduce until you say, are left with nothing but to look at the extinction of men and women from this planet because of their lies to their brains and their hearts. Ramadan Kareem, Ramadan Mubarak. Keep and look at these words that I said to you as very, very important. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ramadan Mubarak.